Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Back in the usual location with the natural graphic in the back, and a new addition to the kind of backdrop is the champions of 24-25, which are obviously Liverpool. The two title winning campaigns are behind me, 19-20, and you got 24-25 there. But guys, this video has to be made, and I'll tell you why it needs to be made. It's because this player has been on the mouths and in the topics of every single Liverpool supporter that I've come across and have seen online. Forget Liverpool fans for a second. This player has an effect on what happens to many, many players that go to different clubs. And in this video, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the kind of effect of Alexander Isak's transfer to Liverpool and how other players around him may affect the transfer as well. But guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. It does mean the absolute world to me. And we are not too far from 700 subscribers. So, and maybe I got a little something coming up for you very, very soon. But like I said, guys, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click the bell notification. And yeah, let's get into it. So, first things first, we need to speak about transfers that have already happened in this kind of domino saga. It's more than a domino now, but it's more of a circle that's not never ending, because circles are just what? One little, it doesn't stop. There is no gap in between a circle. As you can see behind me, we've got Luis Diaz, Nicholas Jackson, and Benjamin Sesko. And you also got Alexander Isak. Now, he's the main figure of this whole kind of thing. Now, that's not discrediting the players around him, Luis Diaz, Nicholas Jackson, or Benjamin Sesko. But Alexander Isak he's the best player on that graphic behind me, made by my brother, by the way. Make sure you check him out on Twitter, RM Graphics. I also put in the link, so if you want anything done, any thumbnails, any graphics like that, make sure to hit him up as well. But look, Liverpool would have not sold Luis Diaz if they didn't have somebody lined up in a replacement. Now, everybody thought, including myself, that when Luis Diaz departs to Bayern Munich, which has now been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, that Liverpool would accelerate on the deal for Alexander Isak. Now, at that time, Newcastle were looking to sign Benjamin Sesko. Now, obviously, that hasn't come to, what they wanted, and Benjamin Sesko has ended up choosing Manchester United. And we've got a few quotations as well from Fabrizio Romano that I'm going to bring up for you guys here. Benjamin Sesko, he took a pay cut to join Manchester United. He took a pay cut. And to me, if I can find where he said this, I think it was on Instagram. I might not be able to find that, but look, this is just about, I'd say, 55 minutes ago to an hour. Romano's he's gone and kind of tweeted this, and I'm just like, it's just like, why would you pick Manchester United? And I feel very, very sorry for Newcastle, and not even as a Liverpool fan, but like as a football fan. Look, Benjamin Sesko set to undergo his medical ahead of his move to Manchester United. He will sign a 5-year contract, process starting early morning, as Sesko will be unveiled tomorrow at Old Trafford. Now, for me, this transfer just showcases how far away Newcastle are from competing for players with the top clubs, the arguable top clubs. Whereas Newcastle are a great club. They're a great, great club. They're a massive club. But in terms of, you look in English football, you've got Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Manchester United. Those are the 6 clubs that dominate what goes on in the Premier League. And as unfortunate as that is, that's just the reality of the game. And Romano did put on his Instagram that he took a pay cut to join Manchester United, Benjamin Sesko. Now, I'm going to see if I can find it for you, but it's very difficult for me to actually comprehend why he's gone there. And the only explanation I can have is that he's United are a bigger club than Newcastle, and that's all it is. And it's a shame, because I think him going to Newcastle would probably have been a better move for his career. It probably would have been more ideal for him in terms of, where his stature is as a player. At Manchester United, the pressure is very, very high. You need to be at the best possible place, and you need to be in the best position possible. Look, I'm going to bring it up on my phone because I think it's probably easier instead of guys showing you, because I'm going to read it out to you what the caption was from Fabrizio Romano on the Benjamin Sesko transfer, because when I saw it, I was like, what? But yeah, let's just get it out for you guys now. So in the caption, Romano said, revealed, Benjamin Sesko has reduced his salary requests for Manchester United. Sesko's initial salary has been reduced to facilitate his move, allowing different add-on structure and almost guaranteed package, which will reach 85 million euros for Leipzig. Red Devils new star arrived at Carrington this morning for medical, with signature on a 5-year contract expected to follow. Tells you all you need to know about what is this. Now, I think Hugo Ekatique also has a play in this, because I think if Newcastle were able to pounce on Hugo Ekatique, I think Alexander Isak would be a Liverpool player at this moment in time. Now, Newcastle weren't able to get Hugo Ekatique because the Liverpool went in for Isaac. They said no, so Liverpool said, "Okay, you want Ekatique? We're going to take Ekatique if you're not giving us Isaac." So Liverpool signed Hugo Ekatique. Isaac then says, "I want to leave." And then it just becomes a whole fiasco of why Isaac didn't do this before if you wanted to move to Liverpool or move away from Newcastle. So it left Newcastle in a very difficult position where they're scrambling for strikers now. I'm not saying that the strikers that they've gone for, they can't sign. They absolutely can. But it's just been an unfortunate window where they tried to get Cunha or Delap or Mbeumo, Sesko now, Ekatique, that just haven't come to fruition. And the only explanation I can tell you guys is that Newcastle are not as big of a club as Liverpool or Manchester United or an Arsenal, whatever it is, whoever they're competing with. And I think players take that into account. Liverpool are the champions. United pay a lot of money, and they're an 85,000-seat stadium with a rich history. Arsenal are a very, very similar club where they have a rich history in English football and also competing at the highest level in England for titles every season, regardless of them winning them or not. So it's Chelsea as well. Chelsea just Club World Cup winners. They're in the Champions League, so club maybe players are looking at that. They've got a history as well in the Premier League, and I think that weighs down on Newcastle. But I think for them, the project there, I think, is very, very impressive. I think what they've been able to do the last 4 years to sign the players that they have signed, and from where they were and where they are now, and Eddie Howe has taken that club from the lows of the lows to the highs of the Carabao Cup, from nearly getting relegated to finishing in the Champions League positions. So this club has experienced it all in the Premier League era, and they're on an upward spiral. This is just a spanner in the works that's going to happen for them, because when they're not matching ambition of the players that they have, the players are going to ask to leave. And Alexander Isak has obviously acknowledged the fact that he's won a trophy there, he's won the Carabao Cup there, but is he really going to win more and more and more? And maybe that's the question for Bruno G and Tonali, etc. that will come. And I really hope it doesn't, because I really like Newcastle as a football club, and I like their players, I like their style of play, and I like their coach. But they've not had a great window. They've absolutely not had a great window. Now, I'm going to see if I can actually bring this up, because this will be quite funny. I don't want to get copyright strike here, but look, let's see if you can play this video, because I think this would probably let me bring this video up for you guys in it so that you can kind of see. So this is Newcastle's transfer. Now this is a Newcastle fan who was speaking about their transfer window and what he expects from this transfer. Let's bring it up for you guys now.
João Pedro has asked to leave Brighton. Benjamin Sesko will 100% be a Newcastle United player if this is true. Newcastle have quite literally said, no, Isak's staying at Newcastle, and we're also going to take your top striker target off you. Here is my dream transfer window for Newcastle United. The first player to be bought is undoubtedly Bryan Mbeumo. I really want to come back on this video and just realise that Isaac stayed at Newcastle, as we always knew he was going to.
This lad's
James Trafford. It's coming to Newcastle, hopefully, and not Manchester City. Bring.
Now genuinely,
is asked to leave Brighton. Benjamin Sesko.
If that was me, I swear to God, I don't know what I would do. I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad. But they missed out on Ekatique, they missed out on Sesko, they missed out on Trafford, Mbeumo, Cunha. Luis Diaz has gone to Bayern Munich. That's one side of it done. Diaz was the first nail in the Isaac to Liverpool coffin. Not even coffin. It's a positive thing. But yeah, look. What I'm trying to say is Newcastle have just been unlucky, I'll be honest. They've just been very, very unlucky in this transfer window that they've not been able to recruit the players that they want to recruit, because I think Eddie Howe's recruitment and their recruitment strategy over the last 4 years has been very, very impressive. From the players they've been able to sign, like, wow. Like, you look at Newcastle United, you think, how the hell have they managed to pull him and him and him and him and him? But they have. And look, they've been linked with Nicholas Jackson, and Nicholas Jackson has kind of asked Chelsea to leave. So Sesko is done, Diaz is done. We need to forget about those. Ekatique is also done. I think it was Craig Hope that said Newcastle are in for. No, it was also Florian Petterberg. So let's bring up the Florian Petterberg kind of tweet. This all interlinks, because Newcastle will not sell Alexander Isak until they sign replacement strikers. Now, Nicholas Jackson is an option for them, Premier League proven, scored quite a few goals in the Premier League. And 65 million euros is what they value him at, Chelsea. And I think that's a deal Newcastle just do. And not just for the sake to let Isak go to Liverpool. I think if a player's unhappy at a club, it's only going to ruin the atmosphere of the football club. And I think that's when Newcastle need to sit down and look at the whole situation and understand that maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's time to depart. And how they do that is another conversation. But they've been linked with Wissa and now Nicholas Jackson. This was yesterday. Bayern have also made inquiries about Jackson, but then you had Max Erbel, the director of Bayern Munich, sporting director, came out and said, no, that's not true. So this all points to Newcastle. Spurs are also interested if Richarlison leaves the club. Nicholas Jackson's on their list. But they need to get this done. There's Ollie Watkins they can get. There is... who else is available? You're actually right. There isn't many strikers that are left, to be honest. Sesko's gone. Ekatike's gone. Jackson's available. Strand Larson, I think, would be a good signing for Newcastle. Craig Hope did say they like him, and the data, 14 league goals in your first season in the Premier League is pretty good for a team that's quite low down in the division. I think Strand Larson showed that he is a quality player. But they should do this deal, Newcastle. Isaac wants out. It's very, very simple. So they need to find... to put this very simply, they're not going to find a striker that scores 30 goals a season. It's just not going to happen. So they need to find 2 strikers that score 15, which equates to Isaac. And I think once they do that, because I think Vissa is the easier deal to do than Jackson. Jackson's got many, many options, but I think Vissa's set on Newcastle. And I think they get Vissa done, they get Jackson done, Isaac goes to Liverpool. It's very simple. Because Diaz is gone, Sesko's done, Ekatike is gone. It's just the last bit for Newcastle. Can they get these strikers to facilitate this Alexander Isak transfer to Liverpool? And there is more news about Isak, because Isak's been in the headlines. I know that they had a barbecue, the Newcastle players and the staff at the training ground, and Isak was told to stay away. And look, I'm going to bring this tweet up from Craig Hope, I think. And Craig Hope is the reporter of this whole saga. So I think it's very important that we should include him in this video, because he's the one that kind of broke all the Isak story and he has been quite reliable this window. So let's have a look. I don't think it's here. But I'm going to bring this up anyway, because I think this kind of explains it the best way possible. So, like I said, Newcastle had a barbecue at their training ground. Isak was said to not come and to train on his own because his behavior was immature. So Alexander Isak has missed out on ice cream, lollies and soft drinks at Newcastle's training ground family gathering for the players. Eddie Howe continued to keep him separately during the ongoing transfer saga. And we also, let's just go on Craig Hope. Let's go Craig Hope. And exclusive, no, not this one. This is the exclusive that he broke when he wants to leave. Alexander Isak will not play for Newcastle in the Cellar Cups this weekend. That's quite telling of where Eddie Howe has Alexander Isak. He's training on his own. He's not involved in anything that the Newcastle players are doing together. And he's not going to be involved in the games on the weekend. And he's not had a preseason as well. So he's going to take him longer to get up to scratch. And surely, if Isak's going to be at the club, you want him to be in the best shape possible. But I think even Eddie Howe knows that he's accepted that this guy is not going to be a Newcastle player in 2 weeks, 3 weeks' time as the window shuts in the end of August. And I think Newcastle are in a position now where they hold the cards. They can sell Isaac, or they can keep Isaac and just make him see out his contract. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he ends up at Liverpool. He only wants Liverpool. He only wants to join Liverpool. Liverpool is the only club in negotiations for him. And I think the expectation is Liverpool to make a bid for him once Newcastle get the striker deals done. So it's all a big line, all a big domino. Starting with Diaz, ending with Isaac. He's made his feelings very, very clear. Newcastle have also made their feelings very, very clear that we have his valuation. We want to get our business done first before we sell, because Newcastle do not want to be in a situation where they sell Alexander Isak. Clubs know they have 100 and whatever million, 130, 40 million in the bank, plus whatever they have already. And then Newcastle going for strikers and they're overcharged and overpriced. And I don't think that's what Liverpool want, because that makes the relationships between the clubs very difficult as well. So I think what Liverpool have said to Newcastle, no problem, take your time, and we'll take Isaac when you've got your strikers. And I think Newcastle have agreed to that. Now that's speculation, but I think that's what's kind of happened, because that's the only genuine explanation you can make for this. Isaac wants out. Newcastle said no until we get our replacements, and Liverpool said, okay, once you open your doors, we will bid and take the player. That's all it is. It's a simple transaction, but just a few complications that need to be fulfilled before this simple transaction can be even simpler. And that's true. He wants Liverpool. Liverpool want him. Newcastle are saying no until we get the strikers in. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme. I don't know if that rhymed anyway. But guys, look. Will Alexander Isak be a Liverpool player? I think so, yes. What do you guys think? Drop your answers in the comments below. And if Isak stays at Newcastle, he will be leaving within the next year. Where do you think Alexander Isak ends up? Do you think Nicholas Jackson ends up as a Newcastle player, or is there more twists in this surprising transfer saga that has gone on and on and on and on and on? But guys, this domino isn't going to end anytime soon. I hope so. I hope there's clarity given today, as Richard Hughes only works on Fridays. We always get a bomb on Friday, like a big bomber from the Liverpool journalist or Romano or David Ornstein. So let's hope for one of those in the coming hours. But guys, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate all of you that have made it to the end of this video. And yeah, I've got a surprise coming for you guys very, very soon as well. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, smash a like button. Follow me on Twitter as well, SaribK01, because I've got a lot of updates on there. So make sure you get into that. It's in the comment section below. It's in the comments where you can kind of see. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.